Hey everyone. Yeah, so if you guys have any questions for me, just drop it in the live chat, and I think Rakshit will just let me know, and I can answer those.
First of all, how are you?
Doing fine. Now, how are you guys doing out there?
Yeah, we are doing well. Uh, the conditions are still like not in control, like better than they
Uh,
were before, but yeah, like they are improving day by day.
yeah, I saw that the rates have started falling, so that's good news.
Yeah. So okay, let's first start with the most basic questions that I ask most of the engineers. Like, at
Okay.
what point in time did you think that you wanted to go for an engineering, and what were the reasons for doing so?
I think मेरे लिए थोड़ा simple था ये. I think from since my childhood, I was like, okay, I want to be a scientist. I want to like uh, create something new, and so I think engineering was an obvious career path uske baad. So that is pretty much where.
Yeah, and so okay, let's take back ourselves to 2013 when you started your BTech in computer science from Bharati Vidyapeeth's
Hmm.
College of Engineering. So what was a life like then at that point in time?
So in 2013, interestingly, I was not so like, I think to summarize it, like I was in a not so satisfied state. I was almost uninspired, not so motivated. I think 2 years just flew me by then. And then like third year hit, and I was like, my mom actually sat me down and she was like, you keep saying you want to do masters, but you don't have a plan yet. And then I created like a 2 year plan with milestones at every 6 months. And then like first step was doing the GRE, and then all the other stuff like creating a profile and stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much how my bachelor's was like a tale of two halves.
While you were in college in around November
Yeah,
2016, you also applied for a patent. So what was the patent
yeah.
about, and how did that idea like cross your mind about the patent?
Yeah, that's an interesting one actually. So patent is it was pretty simple that everyone like charges their mobile phones overnight. So we plug in the mobile and we pick it up in the morning. If you forget, we have a useless phone in the morning pretty much every time. So the idea was that as soon as it charges, it should use like electromagnets in such a way or in such an alignment that as soon as it charges, the electromagnets should help in attaching the phone with the power cord as well as help in detaching them. So it should be like an automated process that as soon as it charges, it should detach by flipping the electromagnetic coils. So that was pretty much the patent. And as far as the idea goes, I'll say I was just it was pretty random, but I think it happened or it came to me because I was just curious, man. I'm like a really curious guy. I keep asking questions, and I think I have got this feedback that sometimes I get curious to the level that I ask too many questions. Like this started like pretty much during my childhood. I'll question everything. So that's where I think it all started.
Yeah, I feel like engineering is about that as well. Like in the last stream, there was Miss Abhishek Bhaiya, and like he told us that how engineering basically gives you the ability of like questioning things. So apart from marks, you
Yeah.
basically need to like create that whole scenario where as an engineer you need to basically learn about. Like you need to basically question things and not maybe focus just on marks but maybe how this thing works, and like that's basically an engineering mindset, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. No, no, totally agree. Totally agree.
So
Getting those
yeah.
things down that how everything is working, how everything makes logical sense. Till the time you don't understand something like, so there's this phrase I came across ELI 5. My friend helped told me that okay, if you don't understand something, just do a quick Reddit saying that blah 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 whatever you don't know ELI 5 Reddit, and they'll just explain it to you like you are five. ELI 5 stands for explain it to me like I'm five. So try to like absorb every concept like that to that granularity, and it helps you like make piece things together.
Okay,
And
that
at least that's what I believe.
like after finishing your graduation, you went to pursue your master's in CS from University of Massachusetts
Mhm.
Amherst. And like, were you always clear that you wanted to go for a master's? Like while you were planning, were there any other options in the back of your mind as well?
I think I took a risk there because I literally sat for just one on campus, and I was pretty determined in my head that I want to do masters. And when I created that plan, it gave me some confidence. Then I reached out to some of my seniors and I checked with them that this is what I'm planning, this is what I'm thinking. If it makes sense, if it's reasonable. So like just keep hawa mein baat nahi hai. It's not I'm just like imagining stuff that okay, masters is possible, going to US for your graduate degree is even possible. So I think having that the plan, doing the research to back up that plan, it gave me the confidence that okay, I can definitely go for my master's. Which college might be a different question altogether. Like okay, definitely not interviewing, not going to spend my time in interviews, but rather I was like okay, मुझे अपने प्रोफाइल पे काम करना चाहिए जो कि मेरे एप्लीकेशन का पार्ट होगा.
And how did you like search for the right course in university? Like going for masters in computer science, was that always like you wanted to go for just computer science only? And how did you choose the university? Because there are a lot of
So my
universities. Yeah.
batch, yeah, for sure. My bachelor's was in computer science, so definitely I wanted to remain in the computer science space. That was one thing. Uske baad, I had done a bunch of research papers in different spaces. Like I have a research paper in networks, I have a research paper in algorithms. After working in like more like exploring those spaces, I felt, and then like after like studying the subject of machine learning, I felt that okay, I think we're at that point where there will be a lot of data coming in, and there will definitely be work and problems to solve in that space where you don't need to crunch data and make like yeah, essentially solve problems in that space. So I was like okay, I want to do this in machine learning. That's what I wanted to do. And in fact, my master's degree, it's although an MS in CS, it has a concentration in data science. I did, I think, 10 courses. Out of those 10, I think 8 or 9 are all machine learning related. So it's more like a master's in ML degree more than a MS in CS.
Okay.
So, okay, that is one part of that answer. The other part is that first, when I gave the first step to doing the master's was taking your GRE exam. And when I took my GRE exam, it helped me understand that, okay, these are the kind of universities I can target. So first, my score helped me narrow down my universities. Then what I did was just I like did some research there that okay, which university has good research in machine learning and stuff. So UMass came, I think, top four amongst all like universities in US in that in machine learning itself. So I was like, okay, that is there. Now, in terms of applying to universities, GRE score, which courses you want, checking those out at these universities, and what else? The budget. Don't forget the money. I knew for a fact that I cannot do my master's at something like Duke. So I come from a middle class background. Like my parents are um, first immigrants to Delhi. So we, I knew that we had like a monthly installment for our home going on at that time. So I had to plan my budget and luckily like so when you're doing your masters, what helped me out there was that if your application is good, you have submitted your application and you got an admit from a good university, there are loans which do not require any collateral. So that helped me out a lot. Like we did not have property to put down for a loan or something or for a mortgage. So we went down to the banker and they said that, okay, based on your admit, based on your earning potential, we can give you a loan of this much amount. And it was actually not a bad deal, honestly. So that gave us some motivation there. And yeah, that those are the things which factored into which universities to apply. And after that, you can apply to roughly 12 to 15 universities. It's fine. So always like have some middle ones where you know that if you get great, have a few top ones, two to three like like which are a long shot. मतलब होना मुश्किल है, but still give it a shot. And then keep some safe ones, which guarantees that okay, you'll definitely go for a master's.
Like, but how did you
So
compare
that was
that?
pretty.
Like, how did you compare that this university is better than this? Like, was it some ranking-based system that you refer to, or was it something
So
else?
there was this, I think, site, I don't know if that's still up. So it's csrankings.org. You could like put in which subject you're interested in. It gave you all the research numbers from that university. That was one data point. The other thing that I used was actually checking out the courses that I will end up taking at these universities. So US universities have a different, I think it's actually similar to bachelor's. I found the bachelor's course thing very complicated with all the electives and this and that. So point is that figure out which, if you go to this universities, which courses you'll take. Do that in advance and it'll help you know that, okay, this scope, like for example, University of, I think, Wisconsin did not have a lot of courses in ML at that time. Although it's a very good university, but it did not have the courses I was looking for. While UMass, it gave me courses in NLP, deep learning for NLP, deep learning for computer vision, applied statistics. That's just five, and I think I'll have 3 to 4 more there.
Okay, and like after completion of your postgrad, you joined Amazon as a software development engineer first, and within a
Yeah.
year or so, you became an applied scientist. So, like
Hmm.
when I heard of the term applied scientist, I didn't know what it was. So, what is exactly the role of an applied scientist in a company?
So I think applied scientist is kind of unique to Amazon, and within Amazon as well, the definition tends to vary from team to team. Like some teams hire applied scientists for pure research-oriented work, while some teams hire them for a mix of machine learning, research, and software development as well. So my team, I felt, was like, I think, unique in this space, even more that software engineers also worked almost like applied scientists. So we would use machine learning models, use the outputs of machine learning models, and create solutions using those roughly. Like, yeah, just to give you a rough summary of that. And as you said, that what going back to the question that what does an applied scientist do at the general definition you can think of it is that um, take a business problem and map it into a scientific problem and find a solution to it and make sure it's not like it should be applicable because you're solving a business problem. You want to solve that problem and send it to production. So in my case, whatever I work on, it goes directly into Amazon.com.
Okay, and like how is a typical day like? Like what you are working on at Amazon exactly on like apart from training machine learning models, how does a typical day look like?
So interestingly, I was not training machine learning models when I joined the team. So as I was hired as a software development engineer. So typical day of work. Before I get to that, let me just give a slide, like a one-liner about what I do exactly and what my team does as well. So that'll give you an idea. So we essentially create the recommender systems that you see on Amazon.com. Like if you're on, let's say, a product page, at the bottom of that product, you see that customers who viewed this product also bought these other products. So essentially, those kind of algorithms is what our team develops, and that's what we experiment with. We actually run a lot of experiments within our team. So that's essentially the kind of work that I have. And day to day varies in Amazon. It's not like a standard work day like throughout the week. So like there will be portions of the week where I have just uh, 5 hours of meeting nonstop. So that can like take up your entire day. Some days you might just be doing a lot of interviews for like hiring more folks into Amazon. While the common pattern there is that the way our team works is that we create goals for our work, bi-weekly goals, and then we discuss those, and then we plan bi-weekly goals for the next 2 weeks. So with that, I have some deliverables by the end of 2 weeks, and I get to work on those in between the interviewing, in between the meetings, and all of those things. Yeah, going back to that common pattern part. So whatever I'm working on, we have one thing that happens in our team, and which is a part of my day to day, is a meeting at the team level within our team of I think 4 to 6 people. It varies from 4 to 6 at times, but roughly I think right now we have yeah 4 to 6 people. Just it keeps varying like from time to time. So we can keep it at 4 to 6, and the idea is that it's like a common platform to sometimes bounce ideas if you are hitting a roadblock. Just the main motivation is to share your updates, so that everyone is in sync on what you are doing, if they can extend any help, if you require some design, like any kind of ideas there. So that's one common part. Then we have some meetings to share what we have worked on across our team of I think 40 odd people. So that those are like different meetings that we do. What other things are part of my day to day? Then, of course, like designing, like whatever is the problem I'm working on, creating a design for that, and then implementing that. And that the implementation might be straightforward writing code, or it could be training your model and then creating the code which will go into production for that. So that's pretty much the work day.
So I was going through your website, and apart from like being a programmer or a data scientist, it also said that you are a designer and painter as well. So where and how did that side emerge from? Because I didn't have an idea that like that could be your hobby or something. But like when I was seeing your portfolio website, that's when I got to know about it.
You did your research, man. Nice.
Thank you.
So I think it's more like you need to flip those words. It's painter slash designer. So I have this, like I think from my school times, I was into arts. Arts. I had like folks would say like I'm like creative, and I did like to create things. And even like being a scientist, it's part of you need to have some level of creativity to, I think, invent something new, to be able to create, like to try to create something new at least. So it so I felt that I was creative and I tried my hand at arts, and I realized that okay, I'm fairly good at painting. And like I think 40% of my 11th and 12th standard was spent in the painting room of my school. I would just, I think, skip some classes and just go there and keep painting the entire day at times. Like just for an example, the one that you see there at the back, um, I created that along with my wife. So we are totally painting, and I'm up for designing anything. So I think, yeah, could do that as a hobby as well.
Yeah, and I guess you also liked sharing or blogging about soccer and football. So, like, do you play soccer and football or yeah?
I I follow soccer a lot. I am a big Real Madrid fan. I think you talked to Aditi last time. She's a big Chelsea fan, so we have some animosity there. So yeah, I'm totally into soccer. I started following actually soccer and especially Real Madrid back in 2013. So when I joined BVP.
Yeah,
Sorry, what was the question? You just talked about Real Madrid and I got sidetracked probably. What was the
I
question again?
like I was talking about soccer as a hobby as well. Uh,
Yes. So there, I tried to like I was just experimenting with like what I know, what I can learn. So I thought that okay, why don't I do some like analysis for Real Madrid itself? And the idea was that okay, I have learned a bit of Jupyter Notebook. So I learned like how to pull scrape transfermarket.com, and the idea was that let's analyze that how has the transfers by Real Madrid been from a statistical standpoint. So like did some analysis in that space. I think it was mostly a dabble because after that I got really busy and I never got back to it.
uh, there's a question in chat window that what was your first win that made you confident that you were doing the right thing? It's from Aman Dalmia.
First win, in what sense?
Yeah, like it was while we were talking maybe about yeah, I guess it was while we were talking about masters or something like that. So basically I guess if I'll reframe the question like
Okay, I think maybe we can I could connect this to the GRE part. I think the first point of validation, actually, that's a good point that no matter you have a plan, you have the research to back up the plan, you need milestones to give you validation that you are on the right track. And one of those milestones for me was the GRE and I had a score of 329 and like I was fairly happy with my score. And I was like, okay, this should help me get into like at least apply into some of the top universities and rest will depend on my profile. So yeah, having those points of validation so that you know that okay, your plan is working is definitely very important as well.
Yeah, like while I'm talking to you, it feels like you are someone who's well organized and uh, manages maybe his
I
time
try
well.
to be okay, you know what? Actually, realized that in Amazon that I am so when I joined Amazon, I think I got this advice from one of the SVPs that there will always be 10 things on your plate that need to be done by the end of the day, but you still have just 8 hours in the day to work on that. So find those five problems which need fixing or need your attention on that day, and you need to be okay with going to sleep knowing that you did not solve the rest of the five problems, and you come back at it the next day. So I think prioritization is the key to that management that you're talking about. And yeah, I'm kind of like I organize almost in a mania. So yeah, that's there.
Yeah, that's great. Like that has worked well for you because I guess like when I talked to the teachers as well at college, they told me that you were like excellent during your bachelor's, and I like you were excelling during your master's as well.
Um, I think it's just thank you for that first of all, and um, I wouldn't call my bachelor's excelling, but sure, I'll take that.
Yeah, but at least during your master's, I guess you did great as well.
It went fine. Like so in masters, there is not exactly a 93% or 92%. We have a GPA system, so it's out of four. So there will be a lot of people who will get four or stuff. I think I had a 3.9, so it was fair. Yeah, I did okay.
That's more than fair. Like yeah, and so like if you were to do it all over again and like you happen to be in BBP on your first day, say tomorrow, like maybe it just happened. So what would be the things that you would do differently? Something that you wished that uh, I hope I knew when I was like in my first day of college or basically in my first year. That if I would have known these things, I would have maybe utilized my time better, and maybe I have been somewhere different.
I think one thing that it keeps coming back to me is that I sh I would have changed how I approached algorithms and data structures and all the coding part. So I feel that for computer scientists, at least, you need the coding is your language. It's essentially the ABCD of computer science. You need that. You need to be a not like you need to be able to speak that fluently to be able to implement whatever solution you have come up with. And that is something I think I learned the hard way when once I came to masters. And I wish I had focused more on that. So I think that's pretty much my advice to my juniors as well, that I think this is specific to CS stream at least, that because that is your language, focus a lot on your algorithms, on your data structures, and your overall coding. Definitely do that. That's valid for CS. But if you're like watching from some other stream, find that um, find that fundamental language or that fundamental concept which you feel that you cannot do without it. You definitely, it's an essential in your stream. If you're in mechanical, it might just be your I think drawing skill probably. I don't know much about it. I'm just saying a wild guess. So find that thing which you feel is going to be your lifeline throughout if you want a career in that. So focusing on that was, I think, something I would have definitely changed. Yeah, that's. pretty much it.
Okay. Well, I guess that's all from my side. Like any other advice that you want to add, or maybe would like to speak about any other thing as well?
I would say, don't be afraid to reach out for help. Um, there are like having your own notions about things, like you think that this is possible, might not necessarily be true. Get validation from folks. You have some kind of hesitation, reach out to your friends. It can be seniors, it can be teachers. For BP folks or anyone else, you can just reach out to me. I might be slow to respond, but I will definitely try and get back to you as soon as I can. Reach out to your seniors, your teachers are very important resource. Don't forget parents. I feel that um, going like a bit further back before BBP, I feel if I would have reached out to my mother at that time when I was preparing for the engineering entrance exams, I somehow I did not do that, and I felt that I did not get the right um, form of education there, or like the right path which should have helped me crack into the top tier colleges. And I think part of that was because I was in my own world there and I was not validating things properly. So don't be afraid to reach out and plan, set milestones, validate that, and yeah, just keep at it.
Yeah. Yeah, like that was all from my side, and like thank you very much for joining us today. I know it's like
For sure.
11 p.m. there, and it must have been hard, and so like thank you very much for joining.
No worries. I'm glad you actually reached out to me and another chance to connect back with BVP. So I'm happy to extend all the help I can do.